Alright, Joltik, you can head in now.
Hello? Is anyone there?
Down here. Hey there, I'm Joltik. And as you can see, I'm pretty small, but I got myself a deep-ass voice. So I feel like I could be a pretty great addition to the cast.
And tell me, what makes you so funny?
Well, I like making pop culture references. Oh yeah, it's all coming together.
Next.
But
I said next! So, Licky Tongue, what would make you a good comic relief? Well, I like food, and I like eating food. Oh my god. Licky Tongue, you are the right Pokemon for this job. Yay.
I can't deal with those goofy-ass Lickitongues anymore!
You suck!
Alright. Hi guys, Aiden Care, aka the Crazy Chandelier here, and welcome to another episode of TPI Talk. And today I have a very special guest with me today, so introduce yourself.
Sup gamers, it's your boy Heavenly Heracross.
Yep. Heavenly Heracross, aka the Ultimate Basement Dweller.
Yes, and I'm here with Aiden Care, the ultimate fat ass.
Beta male. Ultimate beta male as well.
Yes.
You can't forget that, yeah. Ultimate beta male.
Yes, and you cannot forget me, the ultimate simp as well.
Yeah, like how the fuck does Crazy Chandelier always simp? Like, come on now.
I know, it's ridiculous.
Simping, no simping allowed.
This is a simp-free zone.
Crazy. Yeah, no simping in my TPIs. No simping in my TPIs. But no. How about you introduce now? Let's ditch this
Yeah,
little
let's
thing.
ditch the joke. So I'm just gonna avoid the full intro because I don't think you want to hear it twice. But today we have another episode of TPI Talk, and Heavenly Heracross is actually joining us. I know you couldn't tell the difference between me and him normally because of my incredible voice acting.
Yeah, I know.
But
basically, to explain, Chandelier, he went to America, right? And his voice just, I know that I sound exactly like him. You know, he just went to fucking America, and now he just sounds like this. I think you have to cut that out.
I think I do.
You need to cut that out.
Could you just imagine I accidentally leave it in the actual episode?
Oh my god.
It's gonna be hard because we're so used to saying offensive stuff when we're in a call together, and we can't do it because it's gonna be public.
Yeah. Yeah, me and my boy Aiden have the worst sense of humor. The most dark fucking humor imaginable, so it's gonna be a challenge for us not to say anything incredibly controversial.
Yeah,
but you know what, let's try.
We'll do our best.
Let's just
and hopefully we don't get cancelled by the end of this.
Yeah, Twitter's gonna have a ball with us after this.
Yeah, Twitter's just gonna come down on us super hard, just bang 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 gone.
Yeah, there's gonna be an angry mob with fucking pitchforks and shit outside our doors tomorrow.
Bunch of Karens and upset the
bunch of Karens.
Yeah, upset the little Timmy's watching a TPI talk with some inappropriate jokes in it, but
no dark humor in my TPI talks, says the kid.
I thought this was a family-friendly channel.
Yeah, I thought this was rated G. Or gaming. No, I guess it's rated M for male dark humor. I don't know.
Yeah. Or rated O for offensive.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, even better.
But
Rated for offensive.
As you can tell by the title of this episode, we're going to be talking about comedy in TPIs and also comic relief characters as well. Just like good examples we've seen of them, tips on like what to do when writing those sort of characters, stuff that you could probably avoid, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, just basically a tutorial on how to write a comic relief and just explain how they work and all the schematics of it all.
Yeah,
Just everything about a comic relief.
just a quick and easy guide on what to do. And I thought it would be appropriate to have Heavenly Heracross here today because he does have a more comedy-focused show. So I thought he'd be the perfect guest
Yeah.
for this.
Already know. So you want to start with what you want to say?
Yeah. So comedy is something that a lot of shows implement. Even ones that are trying to be more serious in their episodes do at least try to implement some form of comedy, which is always important because if your episode's just super serious and super dramatic all the time, people are just going to get bored.
Yeah, like, I mean, okay, I know a lot of shows, like, some focus on romance, some focus on strategy, some focus on serious storytelling, but, like, I would say best TPI is one with the blend of it all, or at the very least, like, because realistically, a TPI, I think it's really hard to make a TPI 100% serious, but that's just my opinion,
Yeah.
I feel like at some point, if you're just writing that, you're just gonna get bored. You're gonna be like, "Where's the fun part? Where's the haha funny?"
Yeah. And
But
I understand that a lot of people struggle to write comedy, and comedy is very subjective, Like, the type of
Yeah.
comedy I like might not be the type of comedy that you like, so I think that's what puts some people off, because they're scared that people won't find their sense of humor funny. But the best thing to do for that is just to, make shots and hope for one that lands. That's my opinion. Like, try making different types of jokes and see what kind of comedy sticks and what kind of comedy works for you.
yeah, like I would say going for something original and something that probably only you can do is better than doing a stereotype, like doing the lick of tongue stereotype or some other fucking cliche. That's just my opinion. Like, I would say. I would say there's a few rules to making a comic relief. Like, first of all, don't overuse a joke. I think that's a very basic rule. Just don't overuse a joke. And also, I would say, if you can, have multiple jokes. Like, I get that some characters kind of have like their thing. Like, for example, Toracat from ISB. He's a wrestler, and his kind of gag is that he's just idiotic, he doesn't have the highest of IQs, and he just tends to say some dumb things. But the difference between that and I say Lickitung, whole gag is that he likes to eat food and he's fat and Owen stereotype. But with Torcat, the things he says, it's always original. Like he'll just make random jokes about like anything.
Yeah.
And I would say it works. Like, I know a lot of shows have, like, the dumb character, just some character with a lower IQ. Like, for example, another example, No Cake's TPI, his Rhyhorn. I would say his Rhyhorn works as well, because, like, again, like, it's fine to just have the stereotypical stupid character. It's fine. But I'd say execution is what matters most. If the jokes land... And, I would say that's what matters. Because when I think of comic relief, I think more of just, like, the first thing I think of just, like, Patrick Star or something along those lines. Just some character who's just not very intelligent.
Yeah.
I would say those characters can work really well. Like, the examples I listed earlier. I would say those are two characters who work very well. Even if they've been done many times.
Yeah, because the thing with a dumb character is everyone can think of like different dumb stuff to say. Like from your own experiences. Yeah. Like you can look back on dumb stuff that people have said, or you can just think of some random dumb stuff and have your character mention it. That's something that you can do, which is why I think dumb characters work so well and are in so many TPIs, because everyone can do them differently. Yeah. Like Ao's Rhyhorn, like you're mentioning, his whole thing is like he's obsessed with like cute stuff and like pink things and happiness.
You wouldn't expect it.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect it. which is different from how Slow King writes his dumb characters, because Torcat's just like a bit of a goof and does random stuff. And I know random doesn't always equal funny, because if you try and do that, then sometimes it's just cringy, or it's just so random that it like doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Also, Torcat has this whole wrestling shtick, you know? So that makes him a little more original as well.
Yeah. And that's what makes the dumb the dumb comic reliefs a bit like more easy to write, that sort of thing. Another tip with comic relief characters is don't have them stick around for too long.
Yeah. Like, I would say unless you have like a lot of comic relief characters, like I'm talking like half your cast, then no. And also, okay, but before we made this video, I was saying that I was not going to mention my show. But I think in this case I will.
Wow, you're shamelessly self-promoting on my channel. How dare you?
No. Well, I mean, we switched roles in the beginning, so this is my channel actually.
Oh wow, yeah.
No.
So I'm shamelessly self-promoting myself on your channel. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for the betrayal.
How dare you?
I know. How dare
you, Heavenly? How dare you, Heavenly Heracross? Shame on you, man.
I'm really sorry.
How dare
Lady
you?
Chandelure, this is a betrayal of our friendship.
Honestly, I don't know. I don't know what you can do now to just redeem it. Like at this point, you're just a lost cause. Like damn.
But anyway, back to promoting my show.
Yeah. So, all right. So with my show, I have a lot of comic reliefs, right? And I think that, like, I would say, like, over half my cast. But then again, comedy is kind of the theme of my show a little bit, right? And what I try to do, and this is, I only have my pilot out, so of course not everyone's going to know this, but this might be a little tease. But for a lot of my characters, I'm trying my hardest to have them go outside of just being a comic relief. You know, I'm going to add some plot to them. Of course, they're still comic relief. Most of them, they still will fulfill that role of being funny. But I would say you can do more just having them just only be comic relief, and that's their sole role in the game, you know? Like, I would say you can add some plots. You can have them have their plots intertwined with other characters' plots, you know?
Yeah.
Like, there's some things you can do.
Especially if you want your comic reliefs to go farther in the game. Like, if your comic relief is like a Munchlax, and his whole gag is that he just pulls, like, food out of nowhere and just starts eating them in inappropriate times. If he makes it to, like, the final 5, and he's not developed at all, then people are going to have a problem with it.
Yeah, that makes no sense at all.
Yeah, Munchlax
realistically,
just eats his
he
way
would be
to
an
final
early
5.
boot. You know, say maybe he has like a story about like how food is his coping mechanism to deal with bullying, and you know maybe he's like he has like weight issues, and you know he kind of like has like a backstory, and you know in the show kind of just tells his story a little bit, and through the show he's motivated to lose weight, and maybe he becomes like more physically like fit, you know, maybe he like starts to win more challenges. Like maybe at the beginning of the show he's like terrible at challenges, he's like ass like every challenge imaginable, but after a while he starts to just become like a comp beast, you know. Like I think that's a really good story of like, and you know he can still be comic relief at the end, you know, like it's not like they have to do a complete 180 from comic relief to fleshed out serious character, you know.
Yeah,
like they can still have some like comedy in them. Like I think any character can have comedy in them. Anyone, no matter how serious they are.
You don't need to have like specific comic relief characters to be the only comedy in your show.
Yeah, definitely.
And you can have comedy come from like different places, like dry wit or something, or like witty remarks. That can cause comedy without just like telling jokes.
Or like maybe like situations. Like maybe not. It doesn't have to involve like the cast. It can involve like side characters. It can involve the host. Like you know, my two hosts they often have a lot of banter, and they often just roast each other. You know, so that's kind of just outside of like the main 16. You know.
Yeah, you also had the whole thing with Venusaur in Abandoned.
Oh yeah, that was good. I really like that scene. I think that was a side character done well, personally.
Yeah, and he was comic relief, and it did allow for some good humor, but it
Yeah.
didn't necessarily have to be with the cast. You know, like he did interact with them, but he was kind of like kept off to the side doing his own thing for that episode.
Yeah, he was involved more with Bisharp and Hariyama than just everyone left in the pre-merge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's also a good idea, just to maybe involve like just some side characters. You know, you don't have to always just stick with host, co-host, or chef, and then your main cast. You know, you can have other characters come around every once in a while. And, you know, like sometimes you can have like a serious plot with them. Like for example, Ambipom in the latest episode of Abandoned, he was more, that was more of a serious plot line, I would say. So yeah, like you know, I would say it's a good idea to not always have a side character just be something serious, because like realistically, I feel like if it's a serious character, sometimes you're gonna feel obligated to have them return. But if you have a comic relief, they don't really need to return. You know?
Yeah, they can do if you want to like have a callback, but they don't need to.
Yeah. Like I don't know, like when I think of like a serious plot line with like a side character in a way, I just think, oh well, you know, they should be a relevant character now. Like not in like the cast, of course, just like as an outside character, they should be kind of relevant. But if you just have it as a comic relief, then they don't need to be relevant. They can just show up for an episode, do something, and you know, just have some haha funny XD lines, and you know, you're all good to go.
Exactly, yeah. You can just do things with side characters that don't necessarily need to be with the cast, and you can come up with your own way of like delivering comedy. Like it doesn't always need to, like I was saying, you could do dry wit or like comebacks is your way of having comedy, not just a character like telling jokes out of nowhere. But you can do that too if you have a way to make it funny.
Yeah, or you can even have a character who acts as serious as they can, but they still end up being like funny. You know, like it's kind of just like the gag, they're like being serious, but you know they're still like kind of funny in some way.
Yeah, like.
Also, I'd like to.
Oh, sorry.
You can go.
Oh, I was just gonna say, an example of this, and he's finally gonna be happy because I'm bringing him up in one of these. Gliscor Games TPI, his Bulbasaur, who just tries to be like the serious alpha male leader type, like leader Bulbasaur stereotype, and he just comes across as like an idiot.
Yeah, like he doesn't know it, but everyone else does.
Yeah, and another example is your Dr. Crow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because he
the fan favorite.
The fan favorite who should totally make merge. But.
And you know, like because you know he thinks he's a competent villain. He thinks he's the shit. But in all honesty, he's just a laughing stock, and everyone's kind of just like, oh, okay, Dr. Crow, yeah, you do that, and then like Dr. Crow's like, aha, you are so worried by me, aren't you? But like in all honesty, they're probably just over here like, yeah, just do your thing. I don't really care.
Yeah, just like writing him off.
Yeah, like he's like the least threatening character out of everyone when he thinks the complete opposite.
You could also, if you want, you could take a try at dark humor. That's sometimes effective. I understand that it's not everyone's cup of tea. It is for me personally. I like a good bit of dark humor, but you can try and do it in moderation, and you also need to understand the difference between dark humor and just saying dark random stuff. Like, you know, if you make a like dark humor joke about, let's say, dropping the soap, you know, that can be funny. If you just make like a random joke out of a character saying, "Oh, my family died when I was a child," you know, that's not fun. That's not funny. Yeah. It's just like, dark out of nowhere.
It's just like it just seems more like serious because like there's no cues to where how it could be funny. You know?
Yeah, whereas if you do something like dropping the soap, you can turn that into a funny gag.
Yeah. I definitely agree. And I'd also like to point out funny voices as well. Now, I try my hardest with voices and to make them in some way funny, even though I'm sure they're very what's a good word? Like controversial, because like, you know, some people might like this voice and think it's funny. I know a lot of voices are overused. For example, the I think it's Breloom from Levi's World Tour season.
I think so.
I haven't seen that. Yeah, I hear his kind of voice a lot. I can't do it, so I'm not gonna try. But you know, I hear that type of voice a lot, and I don't think that's a bad thing. But I would try just not to use, just don't like overuse the same voice that people tend to use. Also, and I would also try your hardest to not rely on the voice for the comedy. Like, of course, the voice can add comedy, but the character has to put the work in too. Like, the character has to, you know, have some sort of gimmick that makes them funny. Or maybe they just say funny things, you know?
It all depends on the delivery too.
Yeah.
Like, if you just say a joke with like no effort, it's not going to be as funny if you like said it with actual passion or like a good delivery.
Exactly.
And voices can also amplify jokes as well. Like, going back to Dr. Crow, I don't think he'd nearly be as funny if he was just like, haha, yes, I am Dr. Crow. Look at my magnificent invention. Or like with
if he was all monotone, and everyone's like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy?
Or if it was just like a general voice. But because his voice is so over exaggerated, it makes it funny. Same with Corefish a lot of the time from Total Pokemon Survivor Island, or another character from Gliscor's show, Starmie. You know, like her voice.
Starmie.
Yeah.
The queen.
Exactly. Like, imagine if Starmie was just like girl, like in a normal voice,
in the most monotone voice ever.
Yeah.
Like she would not be liked nearly as much if she just
Exactly.
had a monotone voice.
And don't be afraid to like play around with voice filters as well, because I know sometimes
Audacity can help.
Oh yeah, because I know not everyone is master voice actors like me and Heracross, but Audacity can help. It can definitely add to it. You know, it can be good for distinguishing the genders between your characters, and it can also be good for like delivering jokes. Like, for example, I think it's Hapini from Bayo's show. She has jokes where she gets like super serious and like breaks the like, haha, life is amazing.
Oh yeah, in episode 5.
Yeah, and I feel like the fact
destroyed that Gyarados.
Yeah, and the fact that, you know, her Bayo used Audacity to make her voice lower, it had more impact with the joke. And same with Hapini from Heracross's show. Like, I don't think the joke would be nearly as funny if Heracross didn't sound like if
I didn't pitch her voice like all the way down in Audacity and she just sounded like normal, or I just like attempted just try and do some like really deep voice, it wouldn't be as funny. It's super over exaggerated. It doesn't make sense, but it doesn't need to make sense.
Yeah, because it's trying to be funny.
It can be as unrealistic and exaggerated as possible. It's a TPI. TPIs don't need to have logic in character voices.
Exactly. And looking at humor logically cannot help a lot of the times. Like, if you try and come at it from like a logical perspective and like look up, you know, how is the best way to achieve humor, it doesn't always help. Or like you try and look at it from like a logical perspective, like this has worked for other people, this is going to work for me by logic, when a lot of the time that doesn't work.
Yeah, just make it as zany as possible, because at the end of the day, it's a PowerPoint show. It is a total Pokemon Island. It's a TPI. It doesn't make sense in the first place. Pokemon don't exist. Pokemon are fictional. None of this makes sense. You don't have to make your humor be all logical and shit. You can do the most outlandish stuff ever.
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter.
Because, yeah, Pokemon don't exist, especially Pokemon that talk and, like, host reality shows, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I would also like to mention, try your hardest. I think I mentioned this earlier, but I just want to say it again. Do not overuse jokes, please. And if you have a character who, just make sure they don't have the same joke and they just overuse it, because it's gonna die. It's gonna get stale. it's going to get old eventually. Like, I don't know what else to say. Please just do not overuse the same joke. Like, don't have a lick tongue. His whole character is that he just likes to eat randomly and oh haha funny, he fat, he eat what.
Yeah,
you know?
like if you're gonna do a joke like that, at least like change it up. Like have him like try to do running and then he just pants a lot and is like really sweaty and just collapses after like running for like a minute or something like that. Or
Yeah, like situations could affect like comedy.
yeah.
You know,
Or like imagine
the challenge.
like imagine he's like going to like a park or something and he just like sits on a swing and then the swing just collapses. You know, you can do stuff like that to try and add new elements to the joke that you came up with originally.
Or, you know, maybe you could have just like everyone just roast a character. Maybe you could have like a character just be like the butt of all jokes, you know? Kind of like Makuhita from Bayocake's TPI. Like everyone just like, especially like Pikachu and shit. Like everyone's just roasting him, and he thinks he's so cool. And like in all honesty, he's like the lamest
He's
person
like a
on the
giant
island.
loser.
Yeah, but everyone's over here just roasting him. He's like, shut the hell up, fucker.
Yeah.
And everyone just roasts him. I think that's a good idea. Just have a character of all jokes. I wouldn't say don't do that for multiple characters, because then at some point it's going to be like, oh, who can be roasted the most? You know, I would just say maybe like one character would be the butt of all jokes. Like, and that's not to say that like only that character should ever get roasted. I think everyone in some way can get roasted about something, you know, especially the comic reliefs, because usually they're the most unlogical, and usually they just do the dumb things, you know.
There's also like there's a step like don't take it too far as well. That's another thing I'd recommend.
Oh yeah, don't.
Because there's like a difference between like roasting a character for jokes and just have the contestants go too far. Like the whole archetype of like everyone pretending that this one contestant does not exist the entire time. That's not funny. And it just makes makes the rest of your cast look like jackasses and douches.
Yeah, like I would say, if like make it more like friendly banter. Like just make it to where it's like, okay, just pretend like you're watching this show for the first time and just being like, okay, yeah, these characters don't come off too much as jackasses. They're more of just like they're more just roasting, just friendly roasting. You know, I would say that's much better.
Yeah, and you can have it be mean-spirited, but like, don't take it too far. Like to the point where like you're just like ignoring this one guy, and it's like, haha, let's just psychologically abuse him for like 15 episodes.
Yeah, exactly. And also, I would say if you're gonna be doing dark humor, then have a disclaimer at the beginning of your video or something. Just make it to where before the audience is watching, the audience can choose to watch or not. Because realistically, there's going to be some snowflakes who are gonna get offended. You know, realistically, I would say that's very probable. I would say just make it to where, like, you know, it's not like I never told you. Just make it to where, you know, they have the choice to watch or not. To let them know that, yeah, this show is going to be fucked. There's going to be a lot of inappropriate humor, a lot of dark type of jokes, you know?
And
like, not everyone likes dark humor.
Making a disclaimer can suck because, you know, it's extra effort you need to put in, and also it could cause you to lose views because some people wouldn't want to watch stuff with dark humor in it. But it is honestly best because you avoid people getting upset at you about it because, you know, you're giving them the warning with something that could offend them.
It's all on them if they choose to watch it, and if they get offended because they were warned, you know?
Yeah, you can't just like watch something that tells you this has got like dark humor in it and then complain afterwards. Like there are some people that do that, but then in that case, you know, they're the one in the wrong, not you. So you've got nothing to worry about in that instance.
Yeah, definitely. So is there anything else you'd like to say about comic reliefs?
No, I think that's it.
Well, I think we're done. That was epic as fuck.
Yeah. So, thank you guys for watching another episode of TPI Talk. Remember to leave any suggestions for topics down below. And go check out Heavenly Heracross's channel. He does his own TPI series, Total Pokemon Game Changers. And the link to his channel will be down below. And will also be appearing in the end cards about now. So, thank you all for watching, and see you guys next time.